It's been reported that more than 150 Metropolitan Police constables are under investigation just for sexual misconduct or racism. In fact, although many people would like to argue, it seems that racism isn't the mainstay of police's misconduct these days, as only 43 Met Police constables were under investigation for racism, whereas 118 were under investigation for simply not being able to keep their grubby little trotters to themselves. To be clear here, it's said, or being said, that all of the 161 under investigation are still on duty, although on restricted duties. This number is said to have been double that of the last reported number. Scotland Yard attributed the rise in restrictions and suspensions to concerted efforts to encourage other staff members to recognise and report wrongdoing, along with the requirement for employees to report misconduct. Now my voice is going. As opposed to trying to make the public think that they are doing more, I would have thought that the aim of the restrictions and suspensions were to keep the public safe and rebuild trust and confidence in the force. But no, apparently it's solely for the benefit of other police staff members. A spokesperson for Reclaim These Streets, the group who organised the Sarah Everard vigil, said, "It's extraordinary that we're expected to pay to keep misogynists and racists on the Met Police payroll. It's right that they're suspended. Women deserve to know that the person we ask for help in an emergency isn't a predator themselves. But we have to ask how they passed vetting to be hired in the first place, how long their prejudice was allowed to fester in the Met's ranks, and how many others like them remain in post." Metropolitan Police Commissioner Mark Rowley said in an interview with BBC4's Today programme, "I have got about 100 officers in the organisation who have very restrictive conditions on them because, frankly, we don't trust them to talk to members of the public. It's completely mad that I have to employ people like that as police officers who you can't trust to have contact with the public. It's ridiculous." You see how he claims that he has to employ them, and recently he said his hands were tied as misconduct hearings are held by a legally qualified chair. But today and yesterday's reports show that that's not the case, as chief constables are able to chair the hearings. A Met spokesperson said, following concerted efforts to encourage employees to recognise and report wrongdoing, mandatory training that makes it a duty to report misconduct, boosting officer numbers in the Directorate of Professional Standards, and listening to the public's views about their expectations of suspension, we've seen restrictions and suspensions of officers almost double. Our work continues at pace to identify those who let down the public and police and deal with them as swiftly as possible. Now, I don't think seeing the numbers of cretins double is a good thing and shouldn't necessarily be seen as such. It simply means to me that double the number of police cretins were lurking about in police uniform that were allowed for however long that they were employed to act with almost impunity behind the protection of their badge, and that the number has only increased because of the public's outrage of crimes against members of the public. I have noticed that a lot of the misconduct hearings are for incidents that have occurred between police and the police, not the police and the public. Now, could this simply be a way of making it look like they're protecting the public even more through many incidents, although many incidents didn't involve the public? I don't know. A suspicious mind might think so, but for the taxpayer to be paying those who shouldn't be in the police to remain in the police on restricted duties is just as outrageous as many of the crimes that they are on restricted duties for. If other forces can chair their own misconduct hearings, then why is Mark Rowley saying that his hands are tied? Answers on a postcard.